here's my question for you. We're basically rebooting our company. We were successful enough for 4 years. We were comfortable. And our brand was the agency you've never heard of. Our work was always other agencies would bring us in and we'd work under them to the point where we're masters of presenting ourselves as if we were part of another company.
Okay.
And all of our work was referral.
Mm-hmm.
We never actually had to find cold leads. Everything came to us. And the referral world dried up last year. And we're reinventing ourselves right now. And one of the things that we're struggling with is we're going down market too. We're going from working with Fortune 500s. Now we want to work with mid-market because Fortune 500s, is insanely competitive. We're now competing against huge agencies for small contracts. The world's changed. And B, we instead of having 2 or 3 big contracts, we want to have a couple dozen small contracts.
Nice.
And so we're struggling with this transition on how to represent ourselves and recommunicate ourselves. Working with Sean, we broke up our company offering from one company offering that was really big and focused on like a large agency format to now we're going to be presenting as 2 small companies. One that insights and strategy, research and strategy, and one that does connected growth. It's a form of consumer journeys.
Okay.
And one of the big struggles we're having is we can't talk about our previous clients because of NDAs, but we've had great previous clients. And because they weren't directly our clients, they were our secondary clients. So we're not allowed to mention them. How do we go about positioning ourselves when we can't actually directly mention who we've worked with in the past? Second of all, and there's a lot of insights you already mentioned on, since we're rebooting and we're small and lean, what was your mentality and how did you decide when you were starting like Founder OS, small and lean, which channels to focus on because we can't be everywhere all at once?
Does being able to talk about previous clients and having proof and all this stuff matter? Hell yeah, for sure. Right. And the good news is like, once you have like 3 new clients, you'll be able to talk about those clients. You just need to kind of get over this little hump, right? Of like this little quagmire right now, right? It's kind of chicken and the egg kind of vibe. So where I go to, like, if I'm in your situation, like literally is like, how do I hack my way to proof? Okay. Like I think as entrepreneurs, like we find a way, right? Period. Like, doesn't matter what the problem is. Like we're rule breakers, we're hackers, we're troublemakers, and we'll always find a way, period. So what's a way with this? Well, one way, as an example, that I think is quick, easy, and gets the job done is you go and, as an example, you and your partner go and say, hey, awesome friend from Nike, awesome friend from Lululemon, awesome friend from Apple, those are too big. You said middle market. So whatever the middle market versions of those brands are, as an example, let me go and help you with a free strategy session for 2 hours and yada, 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 yada. And say, I don't want any money from this. I typically would get paid 20 grand for this. But by the end of it, if you get some value from it, whether it's from your journey part of it or the research part of it, just leave us a raving testimonial if you could here. And you do like 5 of those or 6 of those in like a day or 2. And now you've got 6 raving testimonials on your website from people that are like, they're fucking geniuses. In just 2 hours of working with Ryan, I got more insights than working 6 months elsewhere. Now, is it the exact case study you need maybe to do like the main things you generally would do? No, it's not going to be that yet because you don't have, main clients yet. But does it hack your way to some proof? Yes, it hacks your way to some proof. I'm not saying you have to do exactly what I just said, but I'm just saying that's one example of like kind of hacking your way to some social proof around what you do and doing it fast so you can bring in some revenue and cash flows and just start selling people.
Okay. Yeah. And I have a few companies I could actually easily reach out to that are in the 5 million ARR range.
Nice.
That I could do that with.
The second thing hack there is maybe there's people that you've just already helped. That like you're just a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. I'll just help people for blah, blah, blah. But then suddenly I'm like, oh shit, I actually need like XYZ. So it's like, oh, I'm just going to go look at my history of like, who have I like actually helped this shit with that? Yeah, it wasn't the NDA people. And I'm like, oh shit, knock on the door of like 5, 6 people that like, I actually did help. I just never asked for anything. Be like, hey, by the way, I'm kind of creating a new website, getting this offer launched, this is that. I know I worked with you a while back. I'm curious like how that went. Would it be at all possible for the next 24 hours, you could just leave me a dope little review talking about where you were, where you went, and how it made an impact? Oh, of course, man. Appreciate all you did. Blah, 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 blah. Boom. There's like 24 hours later, you got 3, 4 of those, and those can also be added.
And I have a wealth of those also.
Perfect.
I can get on that today.
Perfect. Well, if you just do an audit of those 2 things, I would start with the latter, because that's just like will you've built from just relying on the good human trait of reciprocity just to get some of those right out the gate, right? That's a no-brainer. And when I've done this, maybe similar to what is about to happen to you. I mean, I remember being able to jumpstart with like actually quite a bit. Let's just say 30, 40 like little testimonials and reviews and this kind of stuff. Cause like I had just by nature kind of just been helping a bunch of people. Okay. So that's that piece. Now the other part to this too, just quick, is like, let's just say you couldn't even get any testimonials. I don't know. It's impossible right now for whatever it's worth. It's like, yeah, it's 15% of the variable, let's say, of like selling and like landing pages and positioning. It's not the whole variable. So make do with the other 85% you can control, like your website copy, the branding, the outreach, the sales calls, the connections you have, all that, and go and sell a bunch of people, right? And yeah, it's going to be slightly harder because you don't have all this proof, but you can just say, hey, like we work with like the kind of usual suspects in this given space. As such, as you know, they make us sign NDAs. I can speak to the fact that we did work with most of them on average for 4 years. I can speak to the aspect that we've worked with big firms like Pentagram and whatever the agencies' names are that you would ever like for this many years. I can't get into the details, but you can imagine work with them that long. We must have been doing a pretty good job. There's maybe some sort of line you could say that would convince them that like you're legit, right?
Okay.
So that's that. On the platform side, so I see platform choice. I'll give you guys 2 different frameworks that could be useful. Okay, number 1 framework is almost like a Venn diagram, like a triple one. Okay, you have what do you love to do in terms of like, do you like to be camera first or pen first, writing or video? The next one is where are your customers, right? Are they on X? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on YouTube? Okay. And then the next one is like, what are you excited by? Like, and the intersection of those generally will point you directionally to probably the platform you should pay most attention to start. And if they all feel really, really overwhelming and you're just getting started, maybe just pick one, okay? Because you start to pick 2, 3, maybe you just get overwhelmed and you never actually get to it. And you just get like analysis paralysis and like kind of feel paralyzed because there's just like so many things you got to do. Versus if you just do one thing really, really well, you get going, get on it, get ripping it, make great stuff, build some momentum, and that compounds in good ways. So I guess like when you think about that for what you're looking to do, like what's the platform that stands out?
Right now, I'm gaining an interesting following on LinkedIn, but it doesn't actually convert to any action.
Cool.
And then YouTube Shorts.
Okay. From whatever I know, I'm just saying on YouTube Shorts, I don't generally see that convert too well. YouTube long form does. I can tell you that data-wise, like YouTube long form does 3x more leads than the next platform and is our number 1 lead generator. So
Okay.
I can speak just from my own business that like, yeah, YouTube's the most powerful, YouTube long form. On the LinkedIn side of what you just said, I would just double check, like if I was to move forward there, I mean, you can make a lot of money from LinkedIn. So it's just maybe that your CTAs and the way you're doing things there are not quite dialed in, which is totally normal. So
Yeah.
if you move forward that way, I would just double click into like exactly how I'm doing it and just literally copy it. Now I think then the decision there is just the analysis of like those 3 quadrants I just said. What are you most excited by? What are your customers? And what are you great at? Right. And if you're like end up defaulting to like, well, customers are on both, but we're better and more excited about YouTube long form or whatever as an example, then do that. If it's LinkedIn, do that. Right. That's how I would think about it.
Okay. Thank you very much.